And clearly, there's no end to Hindu hate in Bangladesh. Fresh questions that have been raised over the safety of Hindus as more attacks continue to come to light. The latest chilling case has sent shockwaves across Bangladesh. In Shariatpur, a Hindu man was brutally attacked by a mob. The victim was even set on fire. Khokon Chandra Das, 40 years of age, businessman who was returning home when he was ambushed. He was stabbed with sharp weapons, doused with petrol and set ablaze. In a desperate attempt to save his life, Khokon jumped into a nearby pond. Locals rushed to rescue him. He was shifted to a hospital and remains critically injured. Police say an investigation is underway. The attack exposes a disturbing pattern. Days earlier, Amrit Mandal was beaten to death in Rajbari. Before that, Deepu Chandra Das was lynched by a mob in Mymensingh, deepening concerns over the safety of minorities in Bangladesh.
কেহরবাঙ্গা ওষুধের দোকান বিকাশের দোকান দোকান বন্ধ করে বাড়িতে আইছে বাড়িতে মনে করেন বাড়ির গাড়ায় পেট্রোল দিয়ে আগুন দিছে গায়ে সাইডে কোপ দিছে ব্যাটারি বাইরে গেছে মাথায় কোপ দিছে
Cutting across to my colleague Shivani Sharma now joining us on the broadcast. Shivani, there's a very clear pattern that has emerged. It's not a one-off incident. Hindus are being targeted in Bangladesh, and the brutality with which they are being killed, they are being attacked, is certainly shameful as the Indian government watches on, as the Yunus government continues to stay in denial.
Tuisha, in last 18 months, there have been over 2,000 attacks and incidents against the Hindus and minorities in Bangladesh. If we talk about last 10 days, in Mymensingh, where Deepu Chandra Das was lynched to death, 200 such incidents have happened that the Hindus were attacked, they were intimidated, and it still continues, Tuisha. So this is happening, and this is a pattern that is now emerging in Bangladesh, where the Hindus, the minorities, they are being intimidated, they are being attacked, they are being threatened, and they are under threat, and they are being mob lynched. We are seeing and reporting about incidents every day. Yesterday also a similar incident was there, where a Hindu youth, he was not only stabbed, but he was set on fire. He had to run and douse the fire when he had to jump in that pond to save his life. And these incidents are becoming very common, and the government out there, the interim government, is not acknowledging the fact. It's not acting against the threats. It's not saying that this is happening, and it is saying that this is just one sole incident that has happened. So we've also seen how the Ministry of External Affairs has countered and raised concerns about this kind of pattern, but it continues, Tuisha, and this is very unfortunate.
Oh yes, it is. And the fact that it continues, I mean, how many more Hindus who are being targeted, and most importantly, how they continue to live there, knowing that they are unsafe, knowing that they can be targeted anytime, Shivani, is extremely concerning. I want to thank you for getting us all those details. Meanwhile, we tell you of the incidents that have happened so far. Clearly, Hindus are unsafe in Bangladesh. The population share, where both Muslims and Hindus live in Bangladesh in 1974. Where it comes to Muslims, there were 85.4% Muslims, 13.5% Hindus, and 1.1% of the other population. In 1981, the number of Muslims who rose to 86.7%, Hindus who went down to 12.1%, and the other minority population that rose to 1.2%. In 1991, Muslims went further up, they increased to 88.3%. Hindus went further down, they now reduced to 10.5%, and the other population that remained the same at 1.2%. Now let's look at the numbers at 2001, where the number of Muslims now rose further by a percent, about 89.6%, as according to the report. 9.3% Hindus that now remained in Bangladesh, and 1.1% of the remaining population. Further, in 2011, the number of Muslims again rose to 90.4%. Number of Hindus went down to 8.5%, and the other population that remained the same. In 2022, take a closer look at these numbers. The number of Muslim population that comprises in Bangladesh, that it comprises of, is 91.1%. And the number of Hindus left are only 8%. The other minorities that are 0.9%. Clear threat to the lives of Hindus, especially in Bangladesh at this point, where there is political instability, and the manner in which Hindus are being targeted. They're being set on fire. They're being killed brutally. A mob that just goes across to lynch them. And we see that the Yunus regime stays in denial. There is rising extremism in Bangladesh, and there is clear proof of it. Clear proof of radical and vocal India critic Hadi, who was declared Shaheed. You saw those pictures of Hadi's funeral, and this was a man who spewed venom against India openly, but he was a martyr for the Bangladeshis. That is how his final journey was conducted. There is public display of ISIS flags in Bangladesh in the open. That is how they are against India, and that is how they are supporting the forces who are anti-India forces. The third proof of jihadi slogans that are raised at such symbolic funerals to put out a clear message to India that they are out there to target those or target any segment that is sensitive to our interests. The fourth proof, Jamaat-e-Islami, that linked groups that are openly operating in Bangladesh, they have a safe haven and they are planning anti-India activities. The fifth proof of how Hindus and minorities, especially Hindus, who are being attacked in Bangladesh, in a clear messaging to the Hindu community, to India, to how Bangladesh is going on to create an environment like this, which is unsafe for Hindus, and of course that big message being sent out to India.